Hey, y'all. This is Frank the Bigfoot, and you're listening to the Paranormal Punchers.
Yeah, top hats to anal probing. That's how we do it around here.
Then they had a flatbread
truck. Man, a flatbed truck. That's the tastiest truck on the planet.
Holy moly, there's a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's my phone?
Yeah.
It came into my suitcase. I threw it off
did what in a suitcase?
They attribute it to El Vampiro de Mocha, the vampire of Mocha. It was
Vampire of
chocolate.
Mocha. Yeah.
That's right. Hey, stop all the beaming.
Stop all the beaming, UFO.
Hashtag stop the beaming.
Oh, man.
Hey, friends. Welcome to Paranormal Punchers. I'm Mark.
I'm Alicia.
I'm Nash.
And on this episode, we're going to talk about Loftus Hall. That's right. Sarah, on our group page, posted something about we should check it out. In fact, she said, I think you guys should take a look at Loftus Hall for a future episode. One of the most amazing places I have ever visited, and right up your alley.
Ooh.
Right up your street. And I looked at the website she had posted, and I want to talk about it now.
Yeah.
So, Sarah, thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
We're going to just rush right into talking about
Right.
Loftus Hall.
Right.
But you made it to the top of the list. Speaking of people that listen to the show, you know I like to say hi to everybody. And also, we got some feedback, and I'd love to tell you guys about it. We heard from Johnny. He sent us a message through our website. He said, hey, guys. Just started listening to you guys at work and have pretty much 10 hours a day to listen.
Oh, my God.
I'm sure I'll catch up sometime soon. LOL. Wanted to recommend a topic which is really broad. It would probably cover a few episodes of how much there is to cover. It's brujeria.
Oh, God bless you.
I know. Witchcraft in Spanish. Johnny, I'm sorry. I know I did not say that right. It is spelled Brujeria, but it's witchcraft in Spanish.
Brujeria?
Yeah, that's what I
Sound
would
a little bit
say.
better than the way I said it.
I don't know. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
And he continues here. He says, being Mexican, we grew up believing in it and how it is used to harm people, tie people to certain people, keeping loved ones close to you, harming people with sickness or death, and it even includes worshiping Satan.
Kind of voodoo-like, I guess,
Yeah.
huh?
I don't know. You can always contact me, and I would be more than happy to talk to you guys and even explain more how we grew up within those beliefs and how we protect ourselves against it.
Wow.
Great podcast, guys. Keep up the great work. Thanks, Johnny. And that sounds extremely interesting.
That sounds crazy.
So we're going to put that on the list, and we'll definitely reach out to you.
Yeah.
So you can give us some more information about us. So that's pretty exciting. Thank you.
Brujeria. Brujeria.
You know, we'll probably just have to call him and have him
I know.
tell us how to
Yeah, exactly.
we are butchering it.
We sound like gringos trying to talk like that, yeah.
Got some iTunes reviews here. We heard from Pirate LeChuck. He's from the UK. He gave us 5 stars. He said, great banter, really enjoyable. And we heard, and thank you, Pirate. We heard from Peppery Potts, all the way from Australia. And she said, like sitting with friends. Listening to this awesome podcast is like sitting with friends after a big dinner, drinking some beers, and just talking about all the stories and urban legends you want to know more about. Love it.
Well, thank you. That's very nice.
I like that. Thanks, Peppery Potts. And let's see, Tony8614 from Australia. He said, love this podcast. A lot of interesting topics. Thank you. Thanks, Tony8614.
Yeah, thank you.
It just kind of made me think of in the original Transformers, they were looking for, are you ladies man 12756? So what I'm saying.
Right. That's right.
Let's see. Oh, we heard from CNN Hater from South Africa.
Wow. All the way in South Africa.
Dropped us a 5 stars, too, like the rest of them. Good stuff. Very unbiased. One of the better conspiracy supernatural podcasts.
Yeah, see? Conspiracies. Uh-huh.
Thank you, CNN Hater.
That's right.
Yeah, you know, I had to tweak some settings in iTunes to see reviews from other countries. I don't know why they just don't show everything.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I did that. So I saw some people from other countries dropped us reviews. If you want to leave us a review on iTunes, do so. It's pretty awesome. And here, this is funny. I think you'll like this. On Instagram, we heard from Texas is the Reason.
Okay.
And he says, this is a message from the past. I'm stuck in April 16th, Zone of Silence episode, and I'm trying to get back to the future. The only thing that works is listening to your podcast. It seems to jump me forward a week or two every time I listen. Hopefully, I don't go too far and end up in the year 6000 or create an alternate timeline.
Could happen. Could happen.
Texas is the Reason. That's made me laugh today. Love it. Thank you so much for listening and contributing. Something so bizarre that I'm sure Nash is thinking about how to.
I am. I'm just thinking. Wow, the Zone of Silence. That was a really good episode.
That was a fun episode.
Yeah, it really was. It really was.
Now we're going to get to the main topic, and we do have some listener stories we're going to get to in the second half. But the first half of the show is Loftus Hall. So, Lish, why don't you start us with a few historical details?
Okay. Well, Loftus Hall is a large manor in Ireland, and it is said to be haunted by the devil and a ghost of a young woman.
Yeah, so it's located on what's called the Hook Peninsula in Wexford, Ireland. And let's see here, a couple fun little things here. So this one jumped out at me about the history of this place. So let's see, it was like 1170 A.D. This dude named Redmond Fitzgerald, nicknamed Le Gros. The Fat.
The Fat.
Le Gros.
Yeah, the Fat.
The Fat. He landed there.
Had a lot of friends, I guess.
I guess he was a part of a small band of Norman knights, and he acquired that land and he built a castle known as Houseland Castle. And over the years, it fell into disrepair. Yada yada yada. And then I guess rebuilt and named Redmond Hall. I just thought I loved his nickname, Le Gros.
Le Gros.
Now, eventually was owned by Alexander Redmond. And here, check this out. So this was like 1642. Alexander was 68 years old. And he fended off an attack from English invaders. Here's the fun part. It was just him, his two sons, some tenants that were inside the castle, 2 soldiers, and a tailor.
Fed off.
It was almost 100
soldiers that were coming.
Yeah.
Well, they must have been like ninjas or something. Oh my gosh!
I just had this in my head. I just in Monty Python's and the Holy Grail,
right.
And the French soldiers are shooting cows at them over the walls. I'm just like, that's just for some reason that's what jumped into my head. His 2 sons, like a couple soldiers, and his tailor.
Wow! Yeah. Holy moly! I guess back in the day though, you had to be a little bit more scrappy than you do now. So everybody kind of had to know how to fight just a little bit. Had to know just the basics, I guess. I don't know. How do you get 5 people in a tailor to hold off 100 soldiers that are coming at you? That's pretty wild.
And like this tailor, how great of a fighter was this? Like the first what was that movie where they were like tailor? Well, that was the front. They went into where you could buy a really nice suit.
Oh,
but actually,
the Kingsman.
Yeah,
the Kingsman.
That's right.
Was this like the first Kingsman?
That could have been. Oh my gosh!
But anyway, so Alexander Redmond died like 1651, and his family was evicted from the castle, and it was put up for auction.
Yep.
And that's where we get Henry Loftus. Now check this date. So in 1666, Henry Loftus, he acquired that land and renamed the mansion Loftus Hall.
Right.
So, 666, 1666. Yeah, I'm like,
doesn't start good.
Yeah. Is that historical? Is that the actual date or just somebody thought?
Right.
Yeah, there were no records of that
tweak
time.
These records. This will be pretty.
Yeah.
Cool. Boy, I'm talking to you any more historical facts because I want to get to like one of the biggest legend about this place that kind of sets in motion all the hauntings.
No, I think up until that point, you covered all the history. So there's some stuff that comes after, and I feel like you can tell the story, and then we can bring up like who was owning the property then, like in the 1900s. So.
Right. So, all right. So this guy named Charles Tottenham, he was, the story, I've heard it several different ways, but one is that the Loftus family, they moved out or moved on or wanted to go back somewhere for a while, and they have Charles Tottenham and his family, like, basically living there taking care of the place. Did you guys hear that version?
I heard that one, but I also heard that Tottenham, he married a Loftus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Either way, Charles Tottenham, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but he was living there with his wife and his daughter, Anne.
Mm-hmm. Anne.
Okay, so here is the story that sets this what's the weird stuff at this place in motion. So it was like a dark and stormy night. No kidding. That's how the story goes. It was a dark and stormy night. This ship, what they said, it was kind of like a black ship, rolled into the harbor there in the peninsula.
Right.
Seeking shelter because it was a raging storm. Now, this boat was only captained by one person. There was only one person on this boat. Mm-hmm. But he got into shore, and he went up to Loftus Hall seeking shelter. Mm-hmm. And, of course, they invited him in. I guess they were wicked friendly.
Yep.
And invited him in to stay as long as he needed to stay.
Wicked? Was it
wicked friendly?
They were wicked friendly?
Wicked friendly. So, and this gentleman, like, he was tall and handsome, and everybody was just, like, smitten with this guy. Mm-hmm. And Anne fell in love with him. Mm-hmm. And, he was there for a little bit, and they were bumping uglies. And she was definitely in love, and she ended up getting pregnant, too, by this stranger.
Right.
Now, one night, they're playing cards in the, the parlor. And Anne drops a card.
Right.
So she has to bend down to pick this card up, and that's when she sees the feet of her lover.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I guess he had kicked his shoes off, relaxing. And she saw that his feet were not like human feet.
Okay.
They were cloven hooves.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Of Satan.
Of Satan himself.
Now, she freaks out.
Right.
And tells everybody what she just saw. This stranger, Satan, he gets infuriated at this whole thing, and he just shoots up through the ceiling of the house, of the mansion, and he's just gone.
He turned into a ball of fireball.
Fireball.
Yeah.
Now, and they say to this date they can't really repair this hole.
Right.
I'm like, get yourself good contractors.
Yeah, you can.
So that everything after people contribute to the devil staying here.
Well, and then also she went crazy.
She went bonkers.
Yeah, and so
right, because she was like, "Oh my God,
Right.
my unborn child growing inside of me is the Antichrist.
Exactly,
it's the devil's hell spawn."
Yeah. So, and I think the family was kind of embarrassed as well. I mean,
they were a little down on the idea.
Yeah.
Hey, let's not. Nobody mentioned that Anne was in relations with the devil.
Yeah. So she was confined to her room, which I think is called. They call it the tapestry chamber. Or tapestry room or whatever. Mm-hmm. So she was confined to there until her death, which was about, I think, 10 years later or something like that. But when they were doing renovations, I'm assuming a couple hundred years later on Loftus Hall, they found the skeleton remains of an infant in the walls.
So I've got questions on that.
Sure.
Okay. So I'm just thinking of the timeline. Okay, so Anne is getting freaky with the devil. Okay, she finds out, he turns into a fireball, he explodes, and he's out. Now, I was confused. Did they lock her up before she had her child in the room because she lost her mind? The way I read it was that they locked her up. And what I had found didn't really touch on the child. Mm-hmm. And they said that she locked her up until she died however many years later. So they kept her in one room for the rest of her life until she died.
Yeah, because she went insane.
Nuts.
And I heard that they also had tied her up.
Oh, okay.
Restrained her because she was really losing it. Literally died in this room. I don't know if you guys came across this, but she also would lay like in a fetal position.
Who doesn't?
To the point of like, she kind of died that way and her muscles were all, so they kind of had to bury her in that position.
Right.
So, but how did the child die? Did they kill the child?
I have no idea.
I also heard that the parents murdered the kid and had it bricked up.
Okay.
So she carried the child to term, then birthed the child, then they separated them, killed the child, put it in the wall.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of work for people who can't repair a ceiling.
Yeah, if you looked at yeah.
Right?
Right.
It's like, they can rebuild a wall. They can't fix the ceiling, but
why would they put it in the wall?
right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like setting things in motion to have a haunted ass castle.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, they have plenty of ground. They've got a lot of water around. Oh my gosh! There's many other options. I'm just thinking the wall isn't the best place to go.
No.
Now, the family did summon a Catholic priest
Okay.
to do an exorcism on the house because they figured, Satan was here. This house, we gotta
dirty.
cleanse it.
Yeah.
We gotta
Right.
get the Satanism out of here. I guess he was successful, but except in the tapestry room. I read he was unable to cleanse it of whatever issues they were having with that room.
How would they know that?
I don't know. Well, I'm assuming things
he
still
told
happen.
him. Yeah, I'm assuming. Or maybe things are still going on.
Yeah.
So after he split, going, all right, guys, you're good. And then they went to the tapestry room. They're like, well, apparently we're not.
Yeah.
You're good. Here's my bill. Thanks. And then there's
kidding.
no guarantee on the work.
Now I found something kind of fun. That so the name of the priest. That's the noise I make when I'm running here. Okay, Father Thomas Broaders.
Okay.
There's supposedly a gravestone somewhere that contains this inscription: "Here lies the body of Thomas Broaders, who did good and prayed for all, and who banished the devil from Loftus Hall." Though nobody can, nobody's been able to actually find this.
Right. I was going to say, because they can't find it. They know what the inscription is, but they couldn't find it. They couldn't find it anywhere. I'm wondering if they just couldn't find his burial plot, or if they just couldn't find that inscription or whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's a lot of unanswered questions about this. This is really weird.
I know.
I'm thinking, and was the child in the wall? Was that the wall of the tapestry room?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it was in the tapestry room.
Okay, so that's a whole. I've got so many questions.
I
on
know.
This. So they locked her up in the tapestry room and then did work in the tapestry room.
Well, this would have been like years later. They were renovating, and they found it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they found
years
the
and
remains.
years later when it was being
Yeah.
renovated. That's how they found the skeleton remains. It wasn't like
Well, no. I mean, when they put the baby in there.
Oh.
They had to put the baby in there right around the birth was when
Right.
Anne
Yeah.
was in the room locked up, tied down.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's probably what drove her really off.
Oh,
off the
I'm
it
sure.
didn't help.
No.
Yeah. Because if they killed the baby in front of her and then put it in the walls, oh my gosh, this is a
Lord.
recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they really did not help the mental state
Not
of
at
their
all.
daughter.
Wow, holy moly!
Yeah, it's almost like, whatever, you're cursed. You had, relationship with the devil. Like, there's no helping you.
Right.
If you see that when you're tied down, and then you've got 10 years to sit on it when you're locked in a room until you
Right.
die.
Ugh.
Yeah, there's a lot of negative energy around there.
Oh, yeah.
That's no wonder the priest, whoever his name is, couldn't do it.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah, maybe he thought he was cool.
Yeah.
And got it. I mean, I'm sure he thought he was cool. I mean, that he was successful. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe it was just later
Wow.
when people go in that room like, oh, there's a bad thing going on in here. That's when they realize, like, I
Yeah.
guess he wasn't successful.
You would have needed like a whole squad, like a football team of priests to come in. They're all doing the same thing. Oh my gosh!
Well, so in 1937, the Loftus Hall became the home of the Sisterhood.
Providence.
Sisterhood of traveling. No,
Of traveling robes.
Right.
Sisters of Providence. They converted into like a convent and a school for young girls.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I think they were there for like 2 years. And I guess also in there's like they restored some of the stuff inside, some steps.
Yeah.
But 2 years into it, 2 nuns mysteriously were found dead. I think on the stairs.
Yeah, I was on the staircase.
And I guess people think that some evil unseen force pushed them down.
Yeah.
So unsaw, but they split. They just said they just packed up.
They just said, we're good.
Yeah, we're out.
Yeah. Have a good one.
Thanks for everything.
Right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I mean, to have that much negative energy in there. I mean, anybody who would come in, whether they were nuns or priests or just people renovating, that energy would be there forever.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Alicia, but isn't there like a lot of crosses and statues of Jesus that are still there from when the convent was there?
Yes. There are, I don't know what the number is. 56 statues of Our Lady and other Christian icons that are found throughout the house. The current owners, when they moved in, they found all these different statues and stuff, but they're all disfigured in some way, and their heads are missing.
Yeah, something's going around tearing the heads off.
That's awesome. Oh, my gosh.
and hide and moving the statues throughout. They can't find the heads, though, right?
No, they cannot find the heads anywhere. They're not sure what happened to them. There's a crucifix that it changes locations on its own. I know the family that moved in, they thought it was like the construction workers that were...
You were like messing with them.
Yeah, they thought they were messing with them, but they were not.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I was thinking the angels were like the weeping angels kind of a thing, kind of going around, but they have no heads.
Right.
Oh man, that's fantastic. Wow. I will never go in this house.
I know.
Ever.
Yeah. Imagine staying there and you wake up and there's like a headless statue of Jesus beside you.
Yeah, it's
that wasn't there when you closed your eyes.
Oh my gosh.
In the former chapel, there are stations of cross. I don't know what that means. Stations of the cross or of cross. I don't know. They've all been defiled, and the pews have been found like turned away from the altar. So,
wow.
yeah.
Holy moly.
Something does not like...
No.
I'm thinking that this place might just need to be like burned. Burned to the ground or something, or just get rid of this place. Some of the ghost hunters need to come and buy it and tear it down and rebuild their house or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they need to do that.
In 1983, this place was purchased by Michael Devereaux. And he opened up Loftus Hall Hotel.
Okay.
Which definitely, I guess it could be a good idea, charging to spend the night in this swanky mansion that's haunted. But I don't know. It just seems like a bad idea. But he ended up dying from a heart attack.
Yep.
He died in the hall.
In the hall, yeah.
And his wife, I guess she struggled for a couple years to try to keep this thing going, but then she just vanished.
Yeah.
Like,
she
poof,
left.
Gone.
Poof, gone.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I also read that, people have talked to her.
Oh, okay.
And she said the reason she left, she said the house told her to get out. So she just left.
She's
said,
done.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, when a house tells you to get out.
It's like, okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Thanks,
You
bye.
go.
It's been fun. It's been real. See you later. Holy moly.
Especially a house like that Satan stayed in. Like,
So what would be, so if you were there and you stayed there overnight and you paid whatever it was, I don't know if it's bed and breakfast or whatever, if it's just lodging for the night, would you be more creeped out by the story that's there or the fact that there are 56 headless statues roaming around?
Right.
I think the statues might really unnerve me.
right. Yeah, I don't think the legend.
Yeah.
I don't think that entered my mind much because number one,
No.
come on, it's a
fun story.
it's
to
an
tell,
interesting story, yeah.
Yeah.
But there could have been something else that made Anne go nuts,
Right.
And and there could another reason why they would kill the baby and break it up,
Right.
But you're right, like because that's poltergeist activity, to rip the head off of a statue and then be moving the statues around like a game.
Right, that would seriously freak me out. The statues for me would do it. Yeah, the story itself, it's kind of terrifying, but at the same time, you're right. There's mental disease throughout history, and we just never really recognize it. There could have been something wrong with a baby. Maybe the baby had something. Who knows?
Yeah.
Why they put it in the wall? That's another question. But headless statues roaming the house. Yeah, have a good one.
Yeah,
Thanks.
really.
I don't care if you have good bagels and cream cheese. I'm out.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if there's supposed to be a
Continental
crucifix, if there's supposed to be a crucifix on the wall here, I walk in, it's not there, but I turn around, I go into another room, and it's in there.
And it's
like
in
that
there.
would freak the heck out of me.
Yeah, completely. Oh my gosh, that would be nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Ghost Adventure guys went there, of
Did they?
course. Yeah, I think Zach got possessed
course.
a couple minutes into the whole investigation.
Yeah.
But they were, when they were talking to the current owner, I found fascinating. They had showed a clip where they give tours through the, from the first floor, and I'm sure they tell these stories, and it's probably spooky. But this guy, he just starts to looks really strange, and then lurches out and starts strangling this woman that was in the group. Almost like completely possessed. He blacked out, had no recollection that he was doing that. So I'm like, all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something, did something possess him? Jump in?
Right.
I don't know.
And then there was
compelling force, I don't know.
Then there was that photo
Right.
with the mom and the daughter in the reflection in the window.
Oh God, yeah, from 2014.
Yes.
Yes.
People walking by, and I was looking at that thing, and I'm like, okay, could that be Photoshop? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
It could have, but
I'll post this in our Facebook group.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's someone just snapped a picture, and in the window you can see, and it looks like she's got some type of period clothes on.
Yeah, and it's like high res. You can really of any images that we've seen so far of apparitions in the window.
Right.
That one is probably one of the best I've ever seen.
Right.
Yeah, I concur.
And there's someone in part of the tour group. She's kind of looking back at the guy who's taking the picture.
Right.
But the apparition is also kind of looking back at him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and if there was reflections of people walking, well, this girl, excuse me, right here, there would be a reflection of her because she's almost
Right.
So it's a cool picture.
Yeah.
You're right, because was it photoshopped?
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Who knows? And I was looking at the picture itself. So if that was a reflection, so I'm looking at it going, okay, well, how far away would a person have to be to make that reflection? And there is a pocket kind of there of empty, where people could be that they're not.
Okay.
But if you look at the reflection of it, you've got to actually make that reflection. The person would need to be almost exactly where somebody else is.
Right. They would need to almost be in
Yeah.
frame that we would see.
Yeah. And so that's why I was kind of, okay, well, maybe Photoshop, maybe not. I don't know. That's a pretty wild photo.
Yeah. Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, wow, that might be one of the best.
Yeah.
The best ones I've seen.
I mean, that's like the dream picture.
Right.
Like you capture
Right.
a full body apparition in the photos you're taking.
Yep.
So if anybody is seeing this picture out there, listeners, if you know the lady who is wearing pink in that picture,
yeah.
she needs to get a hold of us.
Right.
Let her know about this podcast.
I'm sure she's already talked to.
Yeah.
I'm sure that she's talked on something.
Whoever that lady is, we need to talk to her
Right.
because that is nuts. That is absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
What other deets you got on this very large, creepy place?
A lot of people that go in there on tours, and I think some investigations they've noticed significant temperature drops.
Okay.
They've seen some EMF spikes. They have seen full-bodied apparitions. Some people have actually seen a ghost. People have felt tugging or pushing, and they've heard voices. A lot of people say that they just feel really sad, like emotional, when they're in the tapestry room. Which I'm assuming that's it's some kind of
Right.
it's stemming from Lady Anne, but I know that the tapestry room, they've felt and noticed a lot of.
That seems
different
to be
things.
the room that with the
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They're really the place you don't want to go. And hang
Yeah,
out.
and actually, in 1790, Reverend George Reed, he stayed in that room, and he felt something heavy leap on the bed, and it was growling like a dog. The curtains were torn back, and the clothes were stripped from the bed. I don't know. I don't think his clothes. I think
like the bed sheets.
The bed sheets. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he was traveling with a group of people, and he just thought they were pranking him. So he shouted at them to stop, and he even went over to the fireplace, the chimney, and was firing his pistol up the chimney.
That's not wise.
Why was he doing that?
I don't know.
That's not a good thing to do.
He searched the room, found the door was locked. He was like, okay, there's nobody in here. What was that?
Yeah, no, you just also woke up the rest of the house because you're discharging your fire
Right.
In a fireplace.
I know. I was like, okay. He might have actually been woken up from his sleep, so maybe he was confused about what he was doing.
I would be absolutely terrifying, though, to have something jump in your bed that you can't see a grouse. It'd be even worse if it wasn't the bed sheets got ripped off, but his own pajamas got ripped off.
Right?
I mean, then you're like, okay, I'm definitely leaving.
So you said this was...
It's 1790.
And he was a preacher?
Yes, a reverend.
Carrying a weapon.
Yeah, I know. Hey, listen, it's a different time.
I guess that would make sense. Okay.
All right. So then I also read the same reverend. He was in that room sometime later. He was reading a magazine when the door suddenly opened on its own. And then he saw the figure of a woman dressed in a stiff dress cross the room towards the closet. And then she disappeared. Yep.
Did he go fire his firearm into the chimney at that one?
They did not. They did not say that.
Ghost?
And then I guess the following night it happened again. But
This guy can't take the hint. I think they want him to leave that room.
Yeah. He tried to grab the woman as she was like going past them, but she passed right through his body. So
Wow.
Yeah.
And then the next night, he probably should have left after that one.
I am pretty sure he left after that.
He said, "Forget this. I'm out of here." Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's wild. Yeah. Why would he shoot up the chimney?
I just don't
know.
I mean, maybe trying to frighten, thinking that if they're pranking him, I'll do this and scare the crap out of him.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. I have another one from like 1800s.
Ooh,
yeah.
okay.
The second Marquis of Ely, he was staying in the hall, and he had his valet sleeping in the tapestry chamber. And let's see, he said the curtains of the bed were violently torn back, and he saw a tall lady dressed in stiff brocaded silk. I guess he was like screaming out, and they were like, "Please don't scream anymore. You scared everybody." But yeah,
The screaming scared everybody.
Yeah.
Not the full
nobody
body
else saw
apparition.
it except for the valet. He was the only one because he was staying in that room.
Yeah, the Marquis, he's like, yeah, I'm going to put my valet in the most haunted room in the mansion. This should be fun.
This should be awesome. Check this out. Watch this. Watch this. You go sleep in there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's see. Not recently, but I would say in the last couple years or whatever, there was a group that was going through it, doing a tour, and they were in the room, and their guide, his name was Billy, he began to call to the spirits.
Okay.
And within minutes, weird things started to happen. The room was pitch black, but people could see shadows, and they could feel someone standing in front of them. And then his fingers started getting warm. Other people's also, there was several people, their hands and fingers started getting really warm. And then somebody experienced pain in their right side of their chest. And apparently this was the room where Michael Devereaux had a heart attack. So,
interesting.
yeah.
Okay. But Mr. Devereaux, we don't really know if he wasn't like a tortured soul or anything.
No, but
it could have still been there because of
Yeah.
everything else.
pretty much.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything started getting, the fingers started getting warm.
Yeah. Let's see. Some people felt burning on their neck. Like, yeah, I don't know. People feel really weird stuff when they're in
I
that
thought I
room.
read, you're probably talking about the same room or whatever.
Yeah.
But people definitely have like physical reactions. Like this one lady started shaking so bad that her ring just came off her finger, and
But
she
it was
didn't know why. Her body just started.
Yeah, and I read it was just her ring finger that was shaking, which you can't shake your ring finger without shaking any other parts of, you know what I mean?
Now we're all doing it in the podcast.
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
All of us are sitting here
silent
shaking.
you heard is us trying to
us wiggling our ring fingers, trying to get the
Yeah, usually, like, you'll have a couple fingers that, like, you can't just move your ring finger by itself.
Right.
Okay. So they were like, it was just her ring finger
That'd
that
be
was
weird.
going crazy.
That would be weird.
Right?
like it was spasming.
Yeah.
just kind of doing its own thing. And it shook the ring off. Mm-hmm. Huh.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
So where would you stay? In the mansion? In the
Somewhere
tapestry
else.
room? Yeah.
I think I think I'd stay in the yard.
Yeah.
Get your tan out there.
Right, exactly. Oh my gosh.
Now, in the card room, which is where the devil went through the ceiling, there was one woman. She smelled sulfur.
Like hellfire damnation sulfur.
Yeah. She smelled it, and then within a few seconds, it was gone. So she just thought that was super weird. But people have heard footsteps and bangs on the walls, noises that you just can't explain where it's coming from. And sometimes they hear people like walking up above the card room, but I don't think people can go upstairs. Like it's not safe to be.
Because there's still a hole there.
Right. Yeah. A big fire burned hole that nobody can seem to fix for some reason.
Yeah.
Can't get in there with a can of spray paint and just seal that baby off.
Try a little harder to fix that hole.
Right.
Wow. Holy moly. So basically what you're saying is that this is a nice family spot to take the whole family
Nice
to,
vacation.
spend the time,
I'd love to check this out, too.
I know.
It requires a flight over to Ireland.
Yeah.
But once you're there, I mean, I think even Sarah said you could start a brand new podcast just on Haunted Ireland.
Really?
So if we take a trip over, I think we have plenty to check out.
Huh. Well, yeah, that would be absolutely fantastic.
How long in the air is that from the East Coast?
That I don't know.
Well, I went to Scotland, which is
the
next
places.
Yeah, it's a different one.
Oh
I know
my
that.
gosh.
Bash. It was about 6 to 8 hours, I think.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, we went to England first and then took a short.
Okay, for some reason
whatever.
I'm like 12 hours. I don't know if I could do 12 hours
Yeah, it's
in
not
a metal
12.
tube.
It's more like between 6 and 8. I can't remember specifically.
Because I know if we go,
It's like driving to Boston.
yeah, because
Right.
exactly. Because I know when we fly back home to Arizona, it's like one way. It's like 5 hours, so it can't be much farther than that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be, but
I'm down. Let's go.
let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's get our passports ready.
Start saving money now.
I'll be at the pub having a fresh Guinness while you guys go check out this place.
Oh no, you got to go with us.
Yeah.
You got to do 5 minutes by yourself in the tapestry room.
That's right.
Then
So
you can have a Guinness.
Then it's okay. Okay. All right.
And I have one more thing to say about this, and then I've got all my notes are done. So
Go.
a long time ago, this area was a sacred land infused with magic and revered by Celtic druids who used it for their rituals. And it's also said to have once been a pagel.
A peggle.
Pagel?
What?
Bagel with cream cheese?
Yeah, bagel.
That's a really bad bagel.
Yeah, sorry. A pagan sacrificial ground. So for the druids, this was a place of great power and magic. So I don't know if that
Kinda
is the reason.
seated.
Yeah.
Right, where reason why Satan was drawn to it,
Yeah, maybe.
and where all the paranormal activity continues to hang out.
Maybe.
Could be.
And it looked like from the aerial. I saw some aerial photos of it. I mean, it looked. That's exactly what I would think, because it really is the peninsula, and it's the only thing on that peninsula is this house.
I think there might be a lighthouse too, but that probably came after.
Yeah, and
fact.
I mean it looks like it's the perfect spot where a bunch of crazy druids would get out there and start killing stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got to watch out for peggles.
Pagels everywhere.
it.
Every time you turn around.
If you see a peggle, run the other way.
Just run the other way, or if you're opening your you go you eat your baker's dozen and you open it and you're like, you gave me pagels. What is this?
I'm sorry, my mouth is stupid.
And on that note, why don't we take a break, and we'll be right back.
Oh my God. Honey, look, it's Bigfoot.
No way. Let's go say hi. Hey, Mr. Bigfoot, what you reading?
You can call me Frank, and I'm reading the Paranormal Punchers comic book.
Paranormal Punchers?
Yeah, it's about a group of podcasters that get themselves in all kinds of paranormal trouble. It's like Scooby-Doo meets the X-Files, and it's hilarious.
Sounds great. Where can we get a copy?
Just head over to paranormalpunchers.com where you can find a comic book and all kinds of merchandise.
Thanks, Mr. Bigfoot. Have a nice day.
Thanks, you too. Oh, and look out for that bear.
Nash, what is like the one thing that could go wrong on a paranormal investigation?
Why, Mark? That's the lack of food.
People are putting in their backpack a EMF detector, a flashlight, a digital recorder, but if you forget that snack, your whole evening could be ruined.
That's exactly right.
So, if you head over to mfjerky.com, you can order some delicious beef jerky, and if you use our code SPOOKYJERKY15, you can save 15% on your order, and it's a big savings. That way, when you're out doing an investigation, you're not going to worry about hunger pains. Mm-hmm. Your stomach's not going to growl and mess up a possible EVP.
Right, right.
And like we like to say here, Moses Family Jerky, the best thing to pack on your paranormal or normal adventure. And we're back. All right. Sarah, thank you for suggesting Loftus Hall. I had a lot of fun looking stuff up about it. I had a great time talking about it. Mm-hmm. Now, speaking of great times, got a couple of listener stories I'd like to share, that we're going to share with you. The first one comes from my boy Sean from Moses Family Jerky.
Hey, Sean.
He said, saw your recent tweet about Rana's first experience with the voice message left on her answer machine. Mm-hmm. It reminded me of something that happened to me. Doing ghost tours through the Jenny Wade house at night, I put my cell phone in my backpack that he carries around. It has water and some small ghost hunting equipment. He takes it on every tour.
And beef jerky?
Probably. Now, all the ghost toys are in a main, bigger compartment of the bag. I put my cell phone in the front, smaller compartment, along with just my business cards. That's it. Now, I had an iPhone at the time. Was doing my tour with a medium-sized group one night. He went through the building, did the tour. Took usually about an hour and a half per tour. After the tour, I got my phone out and saw he had missed call from his boss, Joe.
Uh-oh.
Now, I thought that was odd, or something happened, being it was almost 11 p.m. at night. So he called him back. I said, "Hey, Joe, it's Sean." He responded, "Sean, are you okay?" I said, "Yes. They just finished the tour and saw you called." And then Joe went on to tell him that Sean, he said, I called him 16 times. Every time Joe answered, he heard static, like an older TV static. And I said, "No, Joe, my phone was in my pack the whole time." And he said, "If you have an iPhone, you put your finger on it to unlock it." Mm-hmm. I said, so he said to Joe, "Okay, I'll put it back in the backpack and call you." And he did, and all his Joe could hear was like just muffled, no static. So he said spirits do love electronic devices and can mess with them. Thanks for sharing, Sean.
Yeah.
And
wow,
that's a little freaky to think that Joe got like 16 calls from you, and all he could hear was static.
Wow.
But the whole time
there's no static when you call or you hang up, or there's never static.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah, interesting. Thanks for sharing, dude.
Nice.
And we heard from Kira from British Columbia in Canada.
Okay.
And Lucia's going to read this one.
Yes. Right. I have an experience I would like to tell you guys. I guess I should start with a backstory. Back when I was about 6 years old, my mom brought a puppy home one day, and instantly we became inseparable. Mm-hmm. She was a pit bull Rottweiler cross named Tisha. She was the bestest friend any girl could have. Fast forward 11 years, unfortunately, she fell ill, and I knew she was going to cross that rainbow bridge soon. But I kept the days as normal as possible to keep her happy. One day I went and said goodbye and told her I will see her after school. Now, all day at school, I felt anxious, By the time the bell rang for everyone to go home, I ran as fast as I could, and when I got home, that's when my world crashed. Tasha wasn't at home. That night, my mom took me into the living room and said she's gone. I had to take her to be put to sleep. I felt like I died inside, but somehow I was happy my best friend was not in pain anymore. Every night from then on, I would feel her when I slept. One thing about Tisha is that she used to sleep at my feet every night. That was her spot, you see. For 4 years, I had always felt her sleeping on my feet every night, and I used to tell her goodnight and sweet dreams. After the 4 years of her sleeping on my feet, I had an episode of sleep paralysis. During my period of paralysis, I felt I couldn't breathe, move, or talk. It scared the crap out of me.
Scared the poopies out.
Yeah, she said poopies. This would happen for 6 months. The only thing that would break me out of it was the sound of her bark. It was a deep, pit bully type bark. One night, the bark would not break the paralysis. I felt the steps of her move up to my face. I heard a whimper, and then I could move again. And then she was just gone. I bawled my eyes out, and my sister asked if I was crying because Tisha just left us. Now, how did she know? She had not told me to this day how she knew. I have not felt her ever since, but I know I will meet my best friend when the time comes. Oh. Thank you for reading. Sorry, I know it's long, but it's not. It's okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I know.
Like, almost trying to not cry here.
Right.
I was almost in tears the other night when I read that. I was like, oh my God, how so sweet.
Oh, my gosh. That's
So,
fantastic.
amazing that after her dog passed, she could still feel the dog at her feet for 4 years.
Yeah.
And that brought her comfort, and not like I would still like feel a little terrified.
Right.
Like the ghost of my dog is like in bed with me. You got to know my dog to know why I'd be terrified.
Very different situation.
And it was there to help her with that sleep paralysis. When she and then it moved on.
Right.
And was the dog waiting?
Maybe
the spirit dog know
I don't
that
know.
she still needs me.
Right.
She
Still,
still needs me.
work wasn't done. I wonder if she had any sleep paralysis after that.
I don't know. She didn't say.
That would be the question if you had anything after that.
Yeah.
I mean, if that was the last incident,
That's why the dog was able to move on.
Right.
We got to stop talking about this.
Right.
I'm going to cry. That is so sweet. It's, again, the bond as a pet owner. Oh, my God. Yeah, okay. Moving on. I'm fanning my eyes. Thank you so much for sharing your stories with us.
Yeah.
Go to paranormalpunchers.com. You can send us your story through our little form there on the contact page, or you can just send it, I don't know, however you feel like doing it. Twitter, Instagram.
Yep.
And now that we're seeing them feedback coming in from around the world,
I know.
Oh my gosh, from around the world, send them.
Oh, it's great. I love it. We have a whole list of topics. Since everybody's been sending us topic ideas, we're trying to get to them.
I know.
Still don't know what the next topic will be, but it should be a blast. Can't thank everybody enough. I think, let's see, we got more Dylan in the Blue coming up on a future episode.
Yeah.
Probably a very special Thanksgiving holiday Dylan in the Blue. That should be a blast.
Yeah.
Anything else, guys?
No, I don't have anything. I'm sorry.
Boy, you just let that one fall.
Wow, yeah, wow. I was going to say, well, you know what? I know that I will never, ever go in the Lofton house.
No?
I gotta
mean,
tell
I
you.
would go in it, but I don't think I would stay there.
Okay, well, yeah. Okay, I would agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
I won't stay there, stay the night, but I gotta say, for me, it still creeps me out. The statues,
Yeah.
the statues,
Oh my gosh, I know.
the statues would freak me out. Yeah, I think I'd be good just on the yard.
Oh, and I got a possible house to investigate.
Oh, really?
That apparently is very haunted, and the history of this house I have not dug into, but my mom was telling me this because she knows a lady that currently lives there.
Okay.
Now, this lady has been touched when she's in the shower.
Okay.
I think the back of her leg was scratched. But the other day, she was telling my mom that she woke up and there was a face right above her.
Oh my gosh.
So she was in bed sleeping, so she woke up, but it was like a face kind of in a cloudish form. It looked at her for a few seconds and kind of just dissipated.
Wow.
So my mom was like, you guys should investigate. I'm like, sounds pretty spoopy. So we might need to
We might need to go over there.
I reached out. I told Geigertown Paranormal, about it. So maybe if we set it up, we'll have them come in and help. That way, you know.
Nice. And it'd be really nice if the homeowner was there serving bagels and cream cheese.
Oh,
Yes.
That would be
stop
fantastic
it.
also. That way we get a little some nourishment, and then we can do some hunting.
Somehow that's gonna keep coming back to hunt.
I think it is.
hell?
You know when you know how they move those bagels and
on flatbread
on
trucks.
flatbread trucks.
I give up, guys.
Remember, everybody, you can learn more at paranormalpunches.com. Interact with us. We love y'all. Be safe. Go get yourself a Prego. And remember, if it's not weird,
It's not worth checking out.